Hello, everybody. Intuitive Tuesday here. So, we are being called to really work on our sensory systems. Now, we know about our basic five, right? Sight, smell, touch, taste, see. Then we have our sixth sense, which is this intuitive sense. But there's a lot more sensories that I think we're being asked to really work with. And the reason why I say that is I've had a lot of experience in the last couple of years with a few things. Something occurred yesterday. I went somewhere to do communication with pets. And I left there and I went to go somewhere else and to pick up something. So I went there, parked my car, I went in, picked up a couple things, got the thing I wanted, happy mood. And as soon as I got to the door and the doors opened, I was in another world. Literally. So much so, I felt like it stopped me in my tracks. Nothing looked familiar to me as it did when I walked in. Nothing. And as I started to get this little panic flush, something put it right back down, and the word navigate came in. I had my key fob in my hand and I was going to hit the little beep beep. Said, nope, navigate. So I slowed my walk and I began to scan the entire parking lot. And as I did that, I realized I have no idea where my car is. And so many things looked foreign to me. So again, I scanned, I connected with my breath, and then something just said, just begin to walk. Begin to walk. And as I did, there was my car. And then as I began to sort of blink in and out of pulling into that space, I remembered, oh yeah, I pulled into the space. But I was in complete, utter blankness, like literally a different world. As soon as those doors open, another world. So as I got in my car, I said, okie dokie, we are testing different navigational skills that I'm just not familiar with. You know, it's one of those things where we are so used to having our sight, and our sight not only tells us where we are physically within the universe, right? It also helps us with our balance. But when we close our eyes or there's no light in the room, your vestibular, which is your inner balance, is supposed to click on. But if it hasn't been worked or skilled or honed in on, it's kind of weak. It's barely blinking and coming on. So we don't know where we are in our surroundings. So that's another sensory that many of us can work on. The way I learned it is to stand in a corner and just barely have your hands touching a wall. Close your eyes and keep them closed. Let your hands away from the wall and then see how your balance is. This is also an indicator of adrenals as well, but we don't need to get into all of that. So what we're being taught here is to master a lot of the systems within ourselves so that we can learn to navigate unfamiliar territory, because more of this is going to appear. So I never tell you all anything until Spirit has me experience it. And I must have come in with an agreement that I had to experience everything in order to kinesthetically embrace it and to share it with others in a really deep physical way, that I have walked that walk, and maybe walk like me, or maybe avoid walking like me because you might hit a wall. Who knows? But I must have come in with that agreement, because I always go in and experience things usually way before everybody else does. And then somehow I'll put it here in a little compartment, and then it'll come up in conversation, either close to when this occurred or maybe even years later. It's like, yes, I've experienced that. May I tell you how I navigated through it that might make it a little more gentle and with ease and grace for your experience, and maybe avoid some of the painful bumps. So one of the things was very clear to me yesterday. The past has been, the future is coming, and in the moment, if you connect with your breath and you can settle into that, you can create the future, and then you can look gracefully at what has been and learn to navigate these weaving and outings of all these different dimensional things that are occurring right now. So you're not losing your mind. It's just some of the things that you're accustomed to have using on a daily basis on autopilot is being dimmed down a little bit, so that you can start working other parts of your physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, and etheric energy bodies. And then there's a lot more. So if you can learn to find some place of stillness and trust your body and your balance, and learn to feel the vibrations of things going on around you, and then feel the vibrations within the body, and see if you can get a cohesive movement together with that. So the aches and the pains and the breath and things all become harmonized, and you don't have as many distractions. And in that moment now you can begin to create things moving forward. But it takes a lot of practice of being in the moment. And yesterday, I guess I needed another lesson of being in the moment, because literally the whole world was not the same when those doors opened, and it was very clear. And I passed whatever lesson they put there, because I could have done a freak out and I chose not to. And my innate self, when I tapped in, I was like, okay, what is this? Nothing looks familiar to me. And when I did that, I slowed my roll, I slowed my breath, I took the panic button and moved it out of my own reach. And the flushing that started was able to come back down, so my body was not filled with cortisol from my flight and fight. And I didn't have to reach out to anyone for assistance. I was able to do it on my own, because I connected with the breath. I knew somewhere out there I was supposed to be, and my car was there, etc. And it was all going to work out, and it did. And it did. And here I am, and I'm being told that I need to share that with you. So while you're experiencing these dimensional changes, these you'll look out, and I don't know, I get very blurry vision, or things just go in mechanical movements. And I know that I'm okay, and that I'm just going to experience them with as much grace and ease, and take the panic button, the freak out, and just, nope, doesn't need to be here. I'm perfectly safe. I trust myself. I trust my innate connection, and I'm okay. So please like, subscribe, and share. Leave me a message. Trust yourself. And if you'd like a session, my website is always in the description. Much love.